and you know the signs, and you know how to diagnose the signs, and you know how to treat the signs. You know, like if somebody comes into you and they're paranoid schizophrenic, you can you know, underline and know what that is.
Right, and we can diagnose that, and we can refer them for further treatment elsewhere if they need it.
Right.
Or I can help them myself.
You know, there's so many people, you know, their emotions are just ripped up to pieces. Maybe something happened in their childhood, maybe due to a bad marriage, maybe due to a family dispute or something like that. It sticks with people's hearts. And you help people to, you know, be free from this, and I'm just so thankful for the work that you're doing. And how can people get a hold of you and talk to you?
Well, I'm actually on the internet, and I'm in the phone book. And so in the phone book, I'm listed under counselors or marriage, or
Right.
I'm not sure what all the different headings are, but you can find me under counseling. And it's Healing Journey of Recovery is the name of my, my counseling practice. And also my phone number is 606-682-5890.
5890. That is so wonderful. You know, there's so many people dealing with so many things. I mean, you can see it. A lot of people don't realize this, how that people become addicted with other people. You know, like stalkers and things of that nature. It's just like, you know, that can lead to violence. That can lead to terrible things, like maybe a bad marriage or something like that, or maybe, you know, whatever the situation. But people following people and people stalking, calling them all the time. You know the signs of that. How can somebody get free from that?
Well, God said He wants to give us the desires of our heart, but what are they?
Right.
And so it's helpful to understand what it is that we all have our God-given needs.
Right.
But if we're not careful in our behaviors, instead of pulling people towards us to get our needs met in a healthy way, we do things that are like so out here and prickly that we're pushing people away. And then we wonder why we don't feel good. Because we have just alienated everyone away from us instead of pulling them towards us.
Right.
So we need to learn those skills. Sometimes we don't even recognize it. I worked with a woman a couple of years ago, and she was very depressed. And her husband finally said, I've had it. I'm out of the marriage. So she got very motivated. She came, and I helped her understand the different patterns of irrational thinking that were causing her to feel depressed. And so she really was very diligent, and she was very careful, and she changed the way she was thinking, and it really improved her mood. And her husband said, well, if she could get better so quickly, then why didn't she do that 12 years ago?
Right.
And I said, it's because she didn't know how. Because she had grown up around her mother and her aunts and different people in her neighborhood, and they all talked like that. They all expressed those kinds of thought patterns. And so she really didn't even know there was another way to think.
Traditions.
So she was just behaving like that. But what she didn't realize is it wasn't going well around her husband.
Right.
He didn't like it at all.
Right.
And it wasn't helping her. But she was stuck in that without even recognizing it. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times people don't see that in themselves. And sometimes our relationships always are very telling.
Right.
So the quality of our mental health has to do with the quality of our relationships with others. How well do we get along? Can we have intimacy? In fact, earlier I was talking about sexual addiction.
Right, yeah.
And you know what sexual addiction really is, what Patrick Carnes discovered in all his research? Sexual addiction is an intimacy disorder.
Right.
It's a disorder of courtship.
Yeah.
Because these people, sad to say, have had so many wounds and things and pain and suffering and trauma in their life, a lot of trauma, that they have never learned. They haven't felt safe with anybody, so they haven't learned how to trust people, to have close relationships.
And people want to feel love. They want to feel that closeness with somebody. But it's just like we was talking about earlier. You know, you can't fix one addiction with another addiction.
No, absolutely not. So that's why if you're having problems in your relationships, that should be a red flag saying, get help. Get help quickly before you've destroyed that relationship. The very people that God put in your life to help you get your needs met, the desires of your heart in a healthy way, instead of pushing them away, learn how to pull those people toward you. Learn how to get along.
Right. And Christian people, you know, it's all how you handle things. If you would just take the time to pray about a situation, you know, got a lot of people with an anger disorder, you know, like the least little thing sets them off and they're ready to fight or ready to take revenge. Take time to pray. Think about things before you act. It will save you a world of trouble. And, you know, road rage, that's another prime example. You know, so many people on the roads right now, and they got this disorder. You know, like they're mad and they want to run you over.
But why would they feel the need to do that?
Right.
It's because they're thinking something.
Mm-hmm.
They have a belief about themselves. Maybe they feel entitled, that they have more right to the road than anybody else.
Yeah.
Or for whatever. We don't know what their thoughts are. But that's what I help people to focus on. They have to realize the power of their thoughts. And in the